Mono Red dominated Pro Tour Hour of Devastation. 25% of the field showed up with it, and it took 75% of the top 8 slots, or 5 out of 8, depending on how you count it. Also took first place. Me and our team showed up with it. Even the Shaheen Saranis and Sam Blacks of the world played it and did well with it. I had a 7-3 finish. My teammate Donald Smith had a 7-3 finish, achieving platinum for him. 7-3 was actually my best Pro Tour constructed record I've ever had. So why did it all happen? Why did Mono Red dominate? Will it dominate continuing forward? There's a lot of lessons that I want to share that I learned just to cement it better, and lessons that you should be able to learn if you ever make it to the Pro Tour, and also if you're playing an upcoming standard. Welcome in, much love, Trav here. Pit stop in Hawaii. I'm over here at Kahumana Organic Farm. It's a place I stayed last year. We'll have pictures up on my social media. Really, really nice place. Fucking hot. Makes me consider shaving my head. It's fucking hot. Anyways, what you see here is a picture of my deck that I went 7-3 with. I definitely earned 7-3. You know, I had a really, really poor mistake that what it was about to be a win. On the level of the mistake you saw in the top 4. One thing addressing that mistake, like, yeah, it's a pretty bad mistake, but most everyone at the Pro Tour did something like that over the course of the weekend. Or Magic's just hard, you know. That one happened to be on camera with high stakes. Anyways, why did Mono Red do so well? Go over a few things. And the first thing is that Mono Red is just extremely good. This deck is extremely good. Let's go over a list of the reasons why. Okay, it's Mono Red, so you don't get color screwed. All the lands come into play untapped, so you don't get tapped land screwed. This deck operates on 1 to 2 mana pretty well, so you don't get mana screwed. The deck operates well on lots of mana with Collective Defiance, Ramunap Ruins, Hazaret, Bomat Courier, Earthshaker Kenner. You don't get mana flooded very much. The deck also, traditional Mono Red doesn't like to mulligan, but this one does because it speeds up its Hazaret. So, doesn't get mana screwed, doesn't get mana flooded, doesn't get tapped land screwed, doesn't get color screwed, likes to mulligan. Has great early game, has no problem finishing the long game. It's just an incredible deck. So a lot of the decks that in theory beat it, such as Black-Red Control, don't a lot of the time in practice because Black-Red controls multiple colors, gets color screwed, gets tapped land screwed, doesn't have a great early game, doesn't like to mulligan, needs 4 lands to operate but doesn't have many mana sinks. So Mono Red is just hyper consistent. It's one of the most consistent versions of this deck we've seen, and a lot of the decks that theoretically have good matchups just are not as consistent. And that's one of the reasons why Mono Black Zombies was one of the best decks versus it. It didn't necessarily have a great record, didn't necessarily shut it out, but it had a similar curve, similar ability to mana sink, and not getting color screwed, not having tapped lands. Turns out, if you want to consistently beat Mono Red, which I'm not sure that's actually possible, but you can have a decent matchup, you have to consistently not have problems yourself, right? So another reasons why Mono Red did so well is it's not that people didn't respect it, but it's that a lot of people's testing versus Mono Red was invalid because they tested against the online lists, and there's a big difference between online Mono Red lists and Pro Tour caliber Mono Red lists. The online lists had a lot of commons and uncommons. The Pro Tour lists were all rares. The online lists, the offline lists had 3 to 4 Hazaret and 3 to 4 Chandra. Played Soulscar Mage over Village Messenger for a lot of the top ones. So and played Collective Defiance. People were surprised when their Cletus was killed with Collective Defiance. People were surprised to face turn 4 Chandras, even game 1 some of the time. People didn't expect there to be so many Hazarets. A lot of people didn't know the interaction of their Winding Constrictor versus Soulscar Mage. Yes, it does work like that. So what ended up happening is people were beating Mono Red consistently online, but when they showed up at the Pro Tour, the red decks they faced were a lot better configured with better pilots, and they didn't actually win in person. So that's an important thing. Like our team, we recognized the lists online were super bad. So we were like, and this is more or less my list. You know, the team developed it in a lot of ways, but I was like, let's make the best. It's the team's list or whatever. But I did start to champion Mono Red because it's like, let's make the best Mono Red list we can because these lists online are dog shit. And it turned out that nothing we had could consistently beat it. the hate cards, the life gain cards, and here's the next thing. Most of the hate doesn't really beat it. Like, okay, so you have Gifted Aetherborn, Gisela Kalitas. That just dies to burn, or it can't block because of Earthshaker or On-Crop. Okay, you have Authority of the Consuls. That's not very good when Mono Red starts to grind you down with Chandra. Okay, you gained 10 life. Well, Hazoret does 10 damage in 1.5 turns, right? Or the turn you play it plus the turn after. So there's not really a great way to hate it out. You know, there's things you can do to improve your chances. Life gain certainly helps, but all that doesn't necessarily add up to having a good mono red matchup. It just means that you have a chance. So once you have this into play, you have such a consistent deck that's stacked with rares, has high power level, and very, very consistent. You have a lot of people who respect it, but just aren't prepared to fight the best lists. And you have actually most of the hate cards are pretty beatable. Even game one, they're not that problematic. You end up having a lot of the best players in the room sleeve up mono red. Again, even some guys you would never expect to, like Sam Black, Shaheen Sarani. And then it overperformed from there because it was so good and because many of the best players were playing it. There you have it, right? I mean, you have enough Paulos and Owens and so on playing the deck, and it will win the Pro Tour. So that's what it is. Now, moving forward, for those of you guys who are like, well, should I play mono red or should I try to beat it? One thing to consider is a lot of the top 8 lists were actually pretty bad, not well configured. Like Sam Black was playing 21 lands. He's playing Messenger. He's playing Cartouche. You know, half the list didn't even play Soulscar Mage. Soulscar Mage is clearly the better one at this point. It is insane against Green-Black Constrictor, and it's the only way to kill Hazoret in the mirror match, right? A lot of the list didn't play 4 Hazoret. Only our team and Owen Turtenwald had 4, and a lot of people agree that that was correct going forward. So you'll have a big edge in the mirror just playing a good version and not fucking your deck up too badly after sideboarding. Now, if you want to beat it, keep it in mind, like if you're playing multiple colors with tapped lands with a higher curve, you're introducing a lot of problems where you're actually not going to win as much as you're hoping you are. And just throwing in some life gain isn't good enough. You need to have a low curve, you need to have good mana, and you know, there's some decks that did that. You can look in the 8 and 2. One in particular that caught my eye is a Tamer with 4 Aether Chaser, 4 Whirler Virtuoso. That's kind of got the right idea because it can match pace on speed and has a lot of chump blockers for Hazoret later. So it's a very beatable deck, but it's hard to really beat it badly. You know, you can main deck authorities and Jotty offshoots and all this stuff, but it isn't guaranteeing you're going to have a good match, and you're giving up so much percentage elsewhere that in the short term, I would just have to recommend playing mono red. You know, I look at splashing for red, white, or black for some hate stuff, but you're just introducing too much. You're introducing color screw, tapped land screw at that point. And then are you really improving the matchup if you introduce a less consistent deck? I don't think so. So I'm happy with how things turn out. We played the correct deck. I was working on blue-red control, and it was a deck that was beating everything but mono-red. But I was concerned that mono-red would be like Mardu in Ireland, where 25% of the field plays it, and it takes 75% of the top 8 slots. And that's basically exactly what happened. So I'm just happy that I pegged it correctly, and this time I was on the winning team. Previously, I had managed somehow to do 6 and 4 with Jeskai control at that tournament, but I didn't want to repeat the same mistake, and I did not, and was rewarded with my best finish. Unfortunately, I was too groggy in the mornings, and I made plenty of mistakes that led to making plenty of mistakes in the tournament. But that's why we did well with mono red. That's why mono red dominated at the Pro Tour. So I hope you find that helpful, and let me know what you think in the comments as well. Now that the Pro Tour is over, and I'm going to have more time, especially before the next Pro Tour, to do more coaching and to share more and help you guys level up. So if you want to apply for the coaching training program, head over to mtgtraining.com/mastermind and apply. And if it's a good fit, we'll go for it. I do have extra time for to bring more people in. So hope you find that useful. Let me know what you think down below. If you've got a deck you think beats mono red, we'd love to see it in the comments. But again, if you're playing a bunch of colors with tapped lands, you're not beating it by as much as you think or you hope you are. So Much love, and we'll see you in the comments. Peace out.